This is a reassembly tutorial for your Voodoo GameFace spring power pump shotgun. It shoots 6mm plastic BBs. So I'm starting off with it disassembled because this thing practically explodes every time you try and open it. Alright, so first, you're going to use this side of the frame. Before I mention anything about actual parts that we're going to be working with, there is a safety that normally would be in this half, but it fell out, and once it's fallen out, there's really no way to get back in. Alright, so first, this is your pump rod with your front cup thing. This is the part that will actually be in contact with the BB when it's ready to shoot. So you put that into the frame in that groove with that little hole at the end. That's why we have to use this side to put stuff in. Alright, so push it forward until it stops. Now, this is the actual part of the cup that'll slam forward, the thing that probably sees the most, like, back and forth action, if you know what I mean. Alright, so this has a groove in it, so that when you put this in, you can line up the back of it, just like that, so that it does not go where it's not supposed to. Alright, so next, you need to know about springs. There are 3 small springs in this entire shotgun, aside from the little safety thing I mentioned, but all that you need to worry about, these small springs. We can start with our pins now. There are 4 pins total. They're all the same size except for one of them, and that first small one will be for the trigger. It goes right there. I'll show you a close-up of it once I'm done putting the pins in place. You don't have to worry about putting them in the wrong place, because if you try to put them in any of the other little holes, they won't work. So, yeah, because they're screw holes. Alright, so that's what it will look like. The pins go there, 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 and there. Only 4 pins. Alright, now, actual parts that go on the pins. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 main moving black parts that go on pins. Oh, 5. Alright, so you start with your trigger. It'll go just like that, and then this. I think this might be something like a disconnector. I'm probably very wrong about that. But either way, that goes right next to the trigger on that pin. And make sure it's that way when it goes in. Just like that. Next, so this will go on this far pin over here. Just like that. And so what this does is it makes sure that this is all the way forward before you can actually shoot it. And I'll show you more about that once I have the pieces in. Alright, so these 2 pieces are the pieces that have those 2 of those springs on them. Each notch will have a spring that fits over them snugly. Now these go inside each other, so they'll be, let me turn around. Alright, so it'll be like that, and then this one will be inside it just like that. The spring notches will both be facing down. I'll go ahead and put those in place. So they go right over here. Let me get in there, come on. Alright, so just like that. Now, you might have to press it down a little bit, but they should be at the very bottom of their pin. Alright, so this smaller, thinner thing up here that I'm touching should be on top of this part. So it should look like that at this point. Just like that. Alright, this, the piece that is inside of the other piece and this piece are both, what do you call them? I think sear safeties. And then this piece right here, the one that sticks out more, is this sear. I'm pretty sure. I might not be right, but I'm pretty sure. That's what they seem like to me. Alright, so now you put your springs in. I'll put them in right now, and then I'll show you what they look like after I'm done. Alright, he's in place. So the one that has the spring on him is the sear. That guy. And then the other lighter tension spring and lighter colored spring will go on the sear safety right next to it, and they should rest on those little that little ledge built into the frame just for those springs. And this might take a minute for me to get in because my fingers are not small enough Alright, so these springs, all the sear related springs, are now in place. So now your trigger, you should feel that tension. Probably don't mess with it too much because you could make them shoot out. So yeah, that's all in place now. Just look at that and make sure it looks like that at this stage. We'll go on to the last little spring thing. So the last spring will go into that little hole right there. And this is the small spring with a little plunger. Now what this does is it'll protrude inside of this and make sure that the BB does not go backwards into the mechanisms of the gun. And there's already something built inside of here to keep it from going out. So, since this has the holes and that protrudes just right, it should fit right on top of it. So, we're almost done with everything important. That's how it should look. So now, this always put the biggest spring, like this in this case, in last, so you don't ruin everything. So there's a little washer ring. Put that over this. I don't know the purpose of that, but it goes there. That's all I know. Alright, so now you can go ahead and slide your big spring into the back of the backmost pump cup, just like that. And then you put around the rod, the guide rod for the spring. And here, I'll show you. There's a little hole right here that'll hook up to. So make sure it does not come loose. Come on. Alright, so hopefully he doesn't fall out. But it should be, I better hold him in while I'm showing you. It should be like that. So now we can begin putting it back into its usable state. So carefully align this directly on top of the other frame, and it snaps in very well. Alright, now there are going to be a little bit of a gap, but that's why we have screws. Now, as far as screws, where'd I put them? But before you put them in, we need to put the barrel in a little groove so it stays in place. You slide them in there until it's lined up. Now you can finally close the two halves together. Let me screw this in. So now everything else is everything else. I'll start by putting the mag tube back on. Alright, he's in place. Now for the hand guard. Slide him over top. And then the rod right there, let me get a better angle, rod right there, should kind of slide into the little groove right there. Come on. You set it down, and there's a tiny little screw hole, and there's just one little small screw with a flat end that holds this flimsy little, this flimsy big handguard to the hefty, what do you call it, pump rod. Alright, perfect. Alright, screw him in place as tight as he'll go, because I have doubts in that small little screw. I don't know about you. Alright, now he should be all hooked up as far as the pump rod goes. Slide your barrel cover over, make sure it hooks in place, and you can put your sling swivel on there, and then finally the cap that holds it all together. Screw him on. Now, as far as his functionality goes, that is everything you need to know about assembling it. Now, if it'll do right, then we know it works. It works. Wow.